Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. The Town Council on Thursday night at 7 o'clock in the Town Hall hearing room will take up a series of public hearings on the fiscal year 2012 General Fund operating budget. It's a big series of hearings coming up probably for the next few Town Council meetings. And here to set it all up for us, as always, is our good friend, Assistant Town Manager Tom Lynch. Thanks for joining us today, Tom.
Okay, Nick.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about. We'll talk a lot about the budget coming up in just a moment here, but first I want to get through the first page of the Council's agenda, some things that they're going to handle before they get into the orders of the day. Yes. And we'll first start with that Town Council Executive Session Review Committee report. What's that all about?
The Town Council President appointed a committee to look back at all of the executive sessions that have been held to try to move them forward. It's been a practice, I guess, that while minutes are kept, they often haven't been released after the issue has been resolved. So that came out through some recent, issues that came up with some of these committees. So they're now going through, reviewing them, and releasing them. So they released several last meeting and approved them, and we expect to hear some more for this meeting.
Now, I know that some of this work was spurred on by the open meeting law violation allegations brought forward by Councillor Jim Crocker, and that's going to be taken up by the Town Council as well. Not sure whether or not that'll be in public session or executive session, but can you just explain to us the nature of what the Council is going to be examining?
Well, the Council will look at the complaints that were raised. Now, whether they can, just as you point out, whether they can do that in public session or executive session remains to be seen, but Attorney John Davis, who was actually brought up in Barnstable, has been hired. He's a statewide expert on the open meeting law, and he has been advising the council as to how to proceed with these concerns, because it's the law changed, bring it before the Attorney General's office now, so there are timelines in place. So he may have to meet with councils an executive session to say, here's where we're moving forward. So it's not something we can really talk about, but there are violations there to be dealt with. So.
Okay. Now, the centerpiece of this meeting, of course, and what will take up many hours, presumably, is the FY2012 operating budget. Series of public hearings are going to be held all throughout the evening. So instead of getting into each individual line item and talking about that, let's talk a little bit more generally about what this budget contains, Tom.
Sure. It's of course, this is the cornerstone of what we do to shape our public policy for the next year. The Town Council has been very good about kind of clearing the deck so we can just focus on the budgetary issues that are before us. They've used a process that seems to have worked very well over the last few years, which is there are Town Council workshops. So all the department heads will be there, and we'll start with schools and DPW and airport, and just go through every single account, whether it's a general fund or enterprise account. Mm-hmm. And the department heads will make their presentations, trying to focus on the highlights of the budget, accomplishments, as well as be available for any questions that the councils may have. So in working on the budget over the last really 12 months with our finance team, we believe we have a structurally balanced budget. There are no layoffs. We're staying within our budget capacity. There's a net of 3 positions that are unfunded. That came about through the whole early retirement incentive program that went through that helped us to come up with a balanced budget. There were utility reductions of about $140,000 that have been applied. There are some fuel cost increases that we have to deal with. That's going to be one of those unknowns in this budget as we go forward also. We're funding town-wide a reverse 911 system. For those that have children in the schools, it's a system that's used, automatic phone system that's used regularly to say there's a half day coming up or the parent-teacher conferences, that sort of thing. But we'll use it for emergencies, if there's a water main break or something like that, and it's been used in some of the villages, but not throughout the town.
Okay.
So that's a very positive thing. There's additional funding for the Barnstable Police Department.
Now, I want to stop and just talk for a moment about that. In the town manager's State of the Town address, if folks had a chance to check that out, one of his 5 points for his action plan was to help cops stay on the street longer. And he explained to me later that this was through increasing the appropriation for police overtime. Is that accurate?
That's right. We really try to hold the line on overtime in all departments, and it's something we check regularly. And there have been some cutbacks in that area, and the chief and the town manager worked out funding so that they can meet all the obligations that they have under the overtime under the police overtime, as well as the grant that we got that brings on 5 additional police officers.
Right.
Will be fully staffed, and I think the chief is pleased that we've got we're paying putting additional funding in there for him for public safety.
Difficult to argue against increasing the police department's ability to do the job even better than they do already.
That's right.
So what else do we have, Tom?
Well, we have the $2 million transfer for the Capital Trust Fund that they've done annually, and that helps us do the public roads and do all of our capital monies. We have the $1.8 million that's going to be put aside under the increase in the hotel, motel tax and the meals tax for the sewer expansion. So that's just money that's there, that is going to. And then we have a couple of other financial changes where we're looking to create different funds so that we can meet employee obligations for health insurance and life insurance and things like that. So it's while those are all things we can be proud of, it's pretty much a maintenance budget.
Yeah.
The overall increase is 2.09%. In the general fund, and one thing that I think will help viewers when they tune in on Thursday night is that Mark Milne, our finance director, has tried to logically put through put together a PowerPoint presentation that'll show what the changes in all the appropriated funds are, where the changes are in individual accounts. For instance, there'll be one slide that'll show the increase in the school district being about 2%, the increase in the town manager's office being 0%, increase in administrative services went up somewhat. He'll explain why there were. In general, when you see an account that might have gone up, it might be because there's a transfer of personnel in. They're taking a half-time person, making it full-time. And if there's an increase in a department, you've generally seen an increase in their revenues in some way. So with regulatory services where they have parking revenues, they may have the ability to increase someone from. And then the other slide that they'll see that I think will be important is a 10-year trend. And the Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee works with the town very closely on the budget. They'll be making a presentation also talking about aspects that they see in it. But it's for someone who's a policy wonk who likes to get into policy, this is your night, because there'll be the finances matched with policy initiatives that the town has.
Absolutely. And, just for a general taxpayer in the town of Barnstable, this is going to be the most comprehensive look that you'll see in a public council session as to how your money is spent over the course of a one-year period. So if you're interested in where your tax dollars are going, you're going to learn a lot about that on Thursday evening.
And that's from the workshop process. When we get into the following meeting, if we're able to finish this in one night, the following town council meeting will actually be the public hearings where individuals can come and testify on any aspect of the budget or anything that they see that they like or don't like. So it's kind of that two-step process. We acquaint the councils with what's in the budget. They ask their questions. We come back to the public session. The public hearings are probably opened and then continue to the next meeting.
Very good. Well, that's what's coming up this Thursday night as the Town Council takes on the $160 million FY2012 General Fund operating budget, also the enterprise accounts mixed in there as well. Tom, thank you so much for that very comprehensive overview. And once again, this Thursday, 7 o'clock, right here in the Town Hall. We'll have it live for you on Channel 18. And before we let you go, let's take a look at this week's remaining meetings. Thanks for joining us.